Hello, beautiful people. I hope y'all having a blessed day, blessed afternoon, or night, wherever you're living. So, I got on here because something was laid on my heart, and I do get inspired by movies. I promise you, movies literally raised me, other than God. So, what I want you guys to understand so you can overstand and then eventually you can understand in your heart is that the way the world works. So I want to break it all the way down. All right, let's start with what an awakening is and what it is to be asleep. Like when people be like, "You not woke? Stay woke," kind of thing. So when you asleep, you don't see the world the way people who have awakened see it. So being asleep is just basically, and it's not basically, it's huge. Being asleep is when you haven't dealt with like your traumas, you haven't went within, you haven't surrendered to God, you haven't asked God to deliver you, you haven't asked God what's the truth, the way, the light, any of that. You haven't asked God to help you, and you will be faithful to, the Heavenly Father. I call it Father, Mother, all, everything, creation. Anyway, hold on, let me turn this down. So, matter of fact, let me pause this so y'all can hear me properly. Let me do that. Okay. So, when you're asleep, it's like when they talk about, being in the box. Being in the box. You in the box, I don't want to be boxed in. I want to be outside the box. So being in the box, being asleep, same difference. So when you're asleep and not woke, you see the world exactly the way everybody saw it before they awaken. You just think that, oh, this is the world we live in. We don't have no power. We got the authorities over us. We got this going on in our life. Why this happening to me? Da 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 da. I gotta go work this 9 to 5. I gotta go do this. I gotta do that. And you might be a person who a thief or whatever your trauma is that you haven't healed that's causing you to be and act the way that you're acting, the behaviors that you have. It's because you haven't healed. And you won't see the truth. You will only see the world from a certain perspective, which is the majority of the world, where people think, I gotta work, I gotta try to make the American dream happen, all of this extra stuff. Okay, and it's really not the work that you put in. It's not necessarily the work going to a 9 to 5. The work that you put in is the work within yourself, the work, the inner healing, the traumas, and we all have them. So there's no one on this earth that's excluded from a trauma or traumas. Some of them are deeper, some of them, are surface, but whatever level it is, the trauma is something that's affecting your life, your personality, your mindset, the way you think, the way you behave, the things that you do in the dark that you don't want anybody to know about, all those things. So that's being asleep. When you awaken, an awakening is to actually see the trueness of the world, the corruption, what's behind the corruption, who's behind the corruption, what is the world truly about? And then you'll see that it is from a spiritual perspective. And it's so crazy because many people, like in churches and pastors and stuff like that, and just people in general who read the Bible and stuff like that, they'll say things like, we fight against not flesh, but against principalities, but they don't really break that thing down to you. They don't really help you to literally understand what that means. Literally, if you can live your life from a perspective of a spiritual perspective, you will understand the actual reality. So if you're only living your life as what I see with my eyes, you won't see the spirit behind the vessel that you're talking to, meaning that you won't know you sitting up there talking to a whole devil. Not hell, the devil probably itself. You know, you won't see the demons attached to the person. You won't see that the reason, you know, that people behave the way they do is because they got demons attached to them or they got traumas they didn't heal. You won't see it in that. You will think like, oh, this my friend, this my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my mama, my daddy, my auntie, my cousin, my son, my daughter, whomever in your life, my boss, my coworkers. You'll just be like, oh, they so sweet, they this and that. But the devil is a master manipulator. Like the devil is a master manipulator, you know, and it's true what the Bible say, because I read the Bible and I connect with God. I like try to go in all areas of spirituality so I can, other than black magic and hoodoo. I don't fool with that, even though people do that to me. Let me throw that out there. I do not fool with none of that stuff. I don't fool with no black magic. I am a child of the light. And when you're a child of light, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know that we don't fool with that stuff. God said, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. We don't fool with that because you will reap what you sow in that area, and it can get bad, especially when you're doing it to innocent people. Like I've been attacked, and when God comes to judge you, all them demons and entities and spell work and black magic and hexes that you try to put on somebody who was right with the Lord, you're going to get all of that back. So I would suggest that y'all, whomever looks at this video and is on a spiritual journey and who hasn't understood that point or has not got on a spiritual journey, do not mess with that shit. I'm telling y'all, it's bad. But anyway, and you will suffer. So anyway, where was I? Because I got sidetracked. Lord, help me remember what I was saying, because I truly got sidetracked. So anyway, so when you are awakened, I'm going to just start there because I can't remember what I was talking about. Maybe God will give it to me. When you are awakened, you see, I remember, thank you, Jesus. I was like, you don't tell me, Lord. Thank you. So you will be able to see like the spirit in the person. We do fight against spirits. We literally fight. And when they say that, it's literally, if you are asleep, you won't be able to see it. You will just be like, oh, this person's so sweet. They so sweet. Oh, my best friend loves me. Oh, my child is the most amazing child. Your child could be out there doing the most, right? You know, or your mama got your back, right? But your mama hating on you, you know, for whatever reason, you know, or whatever, whomever, or whatever, right? You won't be able to see that because you asleep. You just looking at surface thing. You just thinking like, you know, la 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 going on with your life. And then when bad stuff happen, you know, like, dang, why did this happen? Why did it happen? Why did this happen? Well, it's because people behind your back are spiritually, you know, praying, Preying, not Praying, praying over your downfall. That's why, you know, people say you got to keep things hush when you moving, you know, moving in a certain kind of way where you're trying to get better or be a better person. Because just imagine you not knowing that's your enemy and you telling your enemy everything. Your enemy going behind your back and praying for your downfall, wishing the opposite for your life. Because they can't get their shit together. Because they so wrapped up into darkness because they don't want to heal. They don't want to take the journey of self-healing, which I never understood, like, or even understood or overstood. Why would someone not want to feel better? Why would someone want to sit in a mess? Why would somebody want to sit in, you know, oh, I was, you know, molested as a child, raped as a woman, I was beaten as a son, or whatever your issue is. Why would you want to sit in that? I don't. Do you like it? I just don't get it. And I mean, I do get the spirit that the devil make you feel like that's the way to go. And I get that when you possess with the devil or a demon, it's so deep in you, you don't even realize that you done got lost. I get that. I mean, I get that. Thank you, Lord. Thank you for like let me speak it out and kind of understand it at the same time. I get that. But for me, like, I didn't want to stay in there. My whole life has been nothing but trauma, pain, hurt, disappointment, betrayal, lies, manipulation, gaslighting, unloved. I mean, like my whole life, everything, every step I took, it was some spirit in someone, using someone in my life to block me. But God has a plan for all of us, and I thank God. I'm not mad at anything I've been through. I pray for the people who constantly try to block my life, who don't want to see me happy, want me to feel unloved, or not make it, or be homeless, or not have a job. All the evil stuff that people speak over my life in the spirit and do it behind closed doors and think that God don't see them, or God not gonna let me know. The more you grow into the Lord and God's timing, God will tell you the truth. He'll expose everything to you about who is who and what is what. And then at the same time, He's going to take care of them for you. So I don't worry about it, but I would never change anything I went through, because through this journey, I can honestly say, being awakened, I get things much more clear. I understand things more, and I learn how to love myself. Man, like, y'all don't get it. It's so beautiful to love yourself. It's so beautiful. Like, I'm so in tune to me, and I'm still growing, but I never looked at me this way before, where I am worthy of everything that I desire. And the most beautiful part of what I desire is my self-love, my character, my dignity, my integrity. I embody so many beautiful divine things. And because I had so many haters in my life and demonic spirits that were trying to create illusions in my life about myself or make me feel less than, they didn't want me to see how beautiful I truly was. But they saw it, because the devil already know how beautiful you are. The devil already know who you are, who your true identity is. And it tries to, keep you from knowing the beauty of what you are and who you are. And once you get to the level of you knowing how beautiful of a soul you are, my God, it's amazing. Because you get to a point where you realize, I really don't need anybody in this world. Like, I literally can walk alone in this world and feel so much love coming from myself to myself. And of course, embodying the Holy Spirit and God, the divine. I call God my love, and I always say it's Jesus Papa. And my spirit team, which is my ancestors, my guardian angels, my spirit team, my warriors, my angels of war, who fight battles for me, who help protect me. I'm in a relationship with the divine. And what better relationship to be in a partnership, other than the person who created you, who will love you for your goofiness, your weirdness, or what other people call weird. God doesn't see as weird. God sees it as beautiful. I don't even really believe that God sees it as, well, he just said from a worldly realm perspective. It will be, people will use terminologies as weird or different, but God just sees me, as I see myself, right? But because people are different in the world, many people who are not awakened, who are still asleep, those are the people who get mistreated or looked at as like there's something mystical about you, something different, something, are you from this planet kind of things, because they don't even realize they have their own special uniqueness about themselves that other people will call possibly different or weird. But they haven't awakened to the beautiful part of themselves. I love all of my goofiness, all of my inner childlike, set me free, feeling like an eagle flying in the sky, not afraid to jump off of a mountain and God catches me, poetic, loving, intelligent, amazing, spiritual, beautiful, inside and out, gifted self. I love me. I love me. I love me. I finally love me. And I almost want to cry because it's taken me this long to get here. But God did not give up on me. And me and God had some conversations. Let me tell y'all. We have had some conversations. I'd have been mad at God. Look. And at one point, I felt like my ancestors wouldn't let me be mad. You know, it was chastising me. And I had to break that thing down to God. Now, I feel like I changed the perspective in the heavens because I said, hey, it's not that I don't love you, God. And, you know, spirit team, it's just, I need y'all to understand that I'm going through here in the physical, in the flesh. And I have to process this pain. I have to process it. Let me be angry. Let me go through my emotions. Let me feel. Because for a while in the beginning, before I awakened and all that, I wasn't feeling. I just didn't cry no more because of people in my life talk about I was a punk because I, you know, cry or was sensitive. It's okay to be sensitive, y'all, whether you're a woman or a man. That means that you can allow yourself to feel. You will learn how to regulate those feelings and those emotions. You will feel relief from the crying. It relieves pain, inner turmoil, you know. So don't let anybody tell y'all a wuss because you cry. Whether you're a man or a woman, cry. Crying is healing. Don't let anybody tell you. And if people telling you stuff like that to down you, you don't need them in your life. Because they're not emotionally intelligent. They're not able to cry it out and feel still like a person. This, you know, they got too much of their masculinity side in it, whether they're a woman or a man. You know, that masculine energy who like, oh, you know, if you cry, you a wuss. You know, you actually a wuss because you don't know how to be able to release those feelings. But instead, you go around beating up on people and, you know, having all this masculinity and testosterone, you know, no, that's not emotional intelligence. That's not even like mature. It's not. Maturity is being able to cry and be in touch with your feelings. That way, you won't be around here beating on people, going off, being angry all the time, you know, projecting your shit off on other people because you don't know how to deal with your own shit on the inside, and you're afraid about what people will think if they, especially guys, if they see you cry. Like, look, it's okay to cry, dude, bruh, man, it's okay. And even if you're a woman, because some women are like hardcore, you know, like in the gay life, studs, some studs, even feminine, they so hardcore because of their life. They have to hustle. They will, you know, live in the projects, whatever. Like, let it out. Let it go. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be hard all the time. Like, it's okay to let it out. It's okay to let the pain out. It's painful, and I get it. The struggle be real. Surviving be real. Learning how to take care of yourself, and if you got kids, it be real. I get it. But to down somebody else or think they're less than because, oh, I was raised up in the street and, you know, I live in the project and I'm about that. Like, okay, you about what? That's ignorance. You about what? We're fighting? That means that you don't know how to deal with your emotions when you want to hit on somebody else or beat on somebody else. But you gangbang, you shoot up people. Again, you don't know how to deal with your emotions. You must have been possibly bullied as a child to think that it's okay to go around shooting people or, you know, putting in, you know, making people be gang initiated, you know, threatening people. There's some deep inner healing that you need to go through for you to even have that type of mindset to think like that. To even think about murdering somebody, taking somebody out because whether it's something dealing within you or some truth you don't want to be exposed. Like, I need you to really look inside yourself and find out, why am I doing that? Why am I wanting to hurt other people? Why do I want to murder somebody? Why am I molesting this child or want to molest a child? I need you to go inside and figure out, where did it stem from? Were you molested as a child? Okay, so we need to help you heal, right? So you won't feel that way. So you won't continue to hurt that child. Or whomever bullied you as a child, if that was your situation, why am I going out here gang banging, killing people, murdering people? Why am I raping a woman? Why am I doing that? Was I raped, whether I'm a man or a woman? Am I projecting my pain on somebody else is in a way to express what I've been through? What is it? What's wrong with me? When you focus on everybody outside of yourself, you'll never see the bigger picture. You'll continue down that dark road, that dark path, allowing them demons inside you, those entities, until there's nothing left. You're just a vessel walking on the earth with a whole demonic spirit. You're not even yourself no more. You done got so lost in the darkness that you don't even see the light no more. And again, some people want to live their life, but you always have an opportunity, or have had an opportunity, to change your life. All the work that you put in, hustling, beating up on somebody, hurting somebody else in any form, way, or fashion, you could take all that energy and put it in yourself and do the work in yourself. And yes, that's the hardest work. That's the hardest work. Now, you want to talk about the American dream, you can accomplish that kind of work. And I ain't talking about, out here not working 9 to 5 and work 10 jobs, 3 jobs. I went to college and I got, this kind of money and I would live in a mansion and all of this and that. No, have you did the inner work. Let's see you achieve that. Let's see you get that degree. Let's see you graduate from that college. Let's see. Because I promise you, if you a millionaire and got all this money and you got it the wrong way, or you got it the way where, yeah, you went to college, you did this, but you ain't did no type of inner healing. You just an ego, pride-based, worldly type of person. You a materialistic, this and that. That's all your focus is on. I promise you, take that challenge with yourself and do your inner work with God. Give yourself to God. Let's see how intelligent you really are. Let's see how much you really hustle. Let's see. Let's see if you can go through that journey of healing and put in that work and graduate spiritual college with God. And then renew all of that again, because I promise you, if you got all of that, those material things, and you didn't do it through spirituality, through healing yourself, your traumas, I'm almost certain that God's going to strip you away from all of that and see if you can keep on pushing when you ain't got nothing. Let's see what kind of work you could really put in. So anyway, back to what I'm saying is, people in this world treat people that are different. It was just like this movie that I was looking at. I think it's called Miracle Cell Number 9, something like that, on Netflix. And this man, I think I know he's autistic. And so he doesn't communicate words. He communicates, with his hands, with his eyes, with pointing, things like that. And, and he's a good person. So long story short, because I had just kind of like got into a little bit. I missed a few parts, but from the parts that I did was watching, which is what I just turned off for a few minutes ago. He was with this little girl, and there was a whole bunch of the people. I wasn't watching like why they were all there. Long story short, the little girl was on the side of a mountain. He kept like, making noise and like tell the little girl, no, come back. Of course he couldn't verbalize it. And the girl ended up falling from the rock and dying. So then the parents was asked, the mom was asking the dad, where's the daughter, blah, blah, blah. He didn't, the autistic man jumped in the water from the side of the mountain, picked the girl up. All thing they see is the man holding the little girl in the water, and she bleeding, and she's dead. Immediately they go to, attacking him. So when you awaken, first of all, When you're not awake, you don't take accountability. You want to point your finger at everybody else except yourself. Like, people do not want to face that their fault. My thing was, what I saw from that, just when I looked at that part, was you should have had an eye on your child in the first place, parents. And it's gonna make you feel better because now you can point your finger at somebody nobody ever asked what happened. Nobody ever tried to come up with somebody who can deal with someone who was autistic, which he had a daughter who could totally understand him. No one tried to figure out what happened. They just immediately attack him. And people like to project onto other people because they don't want to feel bad about, well, why didn't I have my child by my side? Why all of us sitting back at this picnic table with all the other kids and people? Where is my child? How did I just realize that my child was missing in this moment? So you wasn't watching your child. And even though it was an accident that she fell off, if you was watching your child, she would have never got on that mountain. She would have never gone inside that mountain. Right? But instead of people wanting to face themselves and look at themselves and say, it was my fault, it's easier to blame somebody else to feel better about yourself, especially someone who's autistic. Let's say, for instance, like the movie was displaying, and that's this whole world. This whole world is, if you're different, you get mistreated. If you like Martin Luther King, people who try to make change, people who try to bring the truth to the world, people who are in power, most of the time, they have a demonic spirit that's inside of them. They just know power, material, control, ruling over others, keeping secrets. They're into all of it. They know about spirituality. Most of the people they know about vibration, energy, brain waves. Like brain waves is basically when you send a signal to convince a person to think differently. Like, let's just say if I was wanting to be the president, let's just say there's an example, and you got on the phone or something one day, I sent these brain waves to your phone or through the television or whatever, however I can do it, however I can get you, and those brain waves make you feel like I'm a good president, I'm a good candidate to be a president, vote for me. You're not realizing that maybe before then, or even the fact that you even went through that, you're not even thinking about, well, I was just the other day saying I wasn't gonna vote for that person. I was just saying the other day that this wouldn't be a good candidate. Why in the world would I vote for them? Why did I vote for them? You wouldn't even, like, being unawake and being asleep, you wouldn't even think about that. You would just be like, yeah, that's my president. You won't even realize you had mind manipulation sent to you, and energy, like I said, brain waves. And even some of these people in higher places don't think these people don't know spirituality. Some of these people in high places don't dive into, black magic and spell work and all of that. That's why you got to get yourself wrapped in, protected in, loved in, fellowshiped in, delivered in the Lord. Because God is the only one who can save you from that. God is the only one who's going to show you the truth of what's going on. God is the only one who, when people see you speak your truth, even on social media, and I really feel like the beginning of I do know that I've been attacked since a child. And I do know that people in high places that delve into spirituality, they have got certain ranks in their position where they can, they call it Akasha records. Akasha records, where spiritually you go in there, you try to see what a person is going to be, who's coming to this earth to try to change the world, all this stuff. And you try to take that child out at an early age or whatever. But the thing about when you're chosen and or you follow God, you are really allowing yourself to surrender to God, and God, and you realize your whole life, you have dedicated your whole life to God, which is where I'm at. God will protect you. God will protect you. And I'm not going to say that God not going to allow you to go through the pain. Like me being attacked spiritually by black magic and hexes and all of that stuff, you know, my hair being pulled from the root and scratches on my back, and I could tell when someone's messing with my sacral chakra. And if you guys don't know what sacral chakra is, that's where your private area is. You know, bruises on me that appear and disappear within 2 days, which would be sometimes bad bruises. You know, like spots on my arm, going down my arm that look like somebody took a cigarette and put on some voodoo doll that appears on my arm. I'm not going to say that I don't feel it sometimes, but the way God teaches us is he allows us to feel it so we can what's the word? Identify it. He literally, every time someone did me something, he'll tell me where part of me that they're attacking, what they're speaking over my life. Like if it was my heart, he'll tell me they trying to cause you a heart attack. They're wishing death on you. You know, if I have bruises on my body, he'll show me like either someone's taking a cigarette, burning my arm, someone's beating my inner thigh, you know, a scratch on my back, somebody scratching it. If my bones hurt when I wake up, somebody kicked it, stepped on it, tried to break me in half. You know, if my mind is off balance, someone speaking ill will over my life with black magic, you know, speaking for me to have a mental breakdown, or, you know, so I could end up in a mental hospital. You know, whatever they're doing, God will allow me to feel it because he needs me to be able to identify the levels of spirituality and what evil does. Like, and then I'll be like, well, Lord, why I gotta keep on? He be wanting me to know, like, why I gotta complete my sin, why I gotta keep on feeling this. He want me to know when they doing it, what they're doing, how they're doing it, and what it feel like. If you don't never experience the stuff, you will never be able to identify it. So people be like, why God let me go through pain? Why? Some of the pain is to break you so that he can rebuild you. The pain is to show you how strong you really are. Okay, so God allow you to go through certain pains and trials and tribulations. Once you go through those trials and tribulations, it's supposed to help change you to be better, because you don't want to go through that again. You have to go through your karma for all the stuff that you've done to people, you know, and sometimes some of us here to break generational curses. So we got our own shit on our back, and we got, you know, what our ancestors do to try to heal that. So we got all of that stuff that we're carrying. So what God does is he allow you to go through that pain because that's part of, you know, the karma that you have to go through to get to the next level, to get to the, you know, to align with God, to get, you know, to a higher ranking. And so, and when I say a higher ranking, that just basically means that there's levels to this. You don't just heal your karma and then you done. No, there's levels. There's levels. And even after you heal your karma, there's levels. There's more growth. There may be a position that God has for you. He need to train you in that position, how to be strong. If you get in that position, how to be authoritative, you know, how to be able to stand up for yourself, how to be able to say no, you know, like all those things. It's a teaching. It's God's trying, it's teaching you through the pain, you know, and then when he puts you through that pain again, you get it. And then you like, wow, I did it. I freaking did it. I didn't allow that person to do X, Y, Z. I remember the pain. I remember what they put me through. I remember this and that. And I don't want to go through that pain anymore. But look how strong I am. Look how when I used to go through that pain or things that, you know, I used to go through, I might have did people wrong. I might have, you know, stole from somebody. I might have did whatever when I was going through my pain because I hadn't healed my traumas and God was working with me. But, you know, or maybe I was a person where I might have liked to fight, you know, but now when somebody steps to me or they do these things, I'm able to handle it better. I'm able to recognize, I'm able to identify that thing. You know, that's how God teaches us. And, you know, then like, and be like, some people be like, well, why God allow people to die and this and that? Well, there's so many reasons why God allowed people to die. Some people are called to come here to do certain things and they didn't do it. and their time is up, because they're now just racking up karma for their bloodline. And not only do they have to come back, but they bloodline, it's going to take so long for them to heal their bloodline now that their ancestors in the heavens or wherever they are, whatever realm they're in, is like, man, take her out, or take him out, take him out, please. Because by the time we have to come back and do this cycle, or they have to come do this cycle, it's going to take us forever to heal this bloodline, because they done racked us so much on our bloodline. It's ridiculous. Take them out, Lord, please. And your ancestors have the authority to go to God and say, hey, we thought that they can do it. We picked them to go and heal our bloodline, but they not doing it. They have chosen another path. They chose to serve the devil, and they are killing our bloodline. Please, we need to take them out, Lord, and God will call their soul back, and take them out on the behalf of their ancestors. Some people like, well, why did my child die? Or why did, this happen? It could be so many reasons. It could be that maybe you were just supposed to experience, the pain of what it feels like to have a child and lose a child. But to be able to see how strong you are to get through that, go through that pain, those tears, and remember that child. Remember what they came to bring you. Remember the smile that they had. Remember what light they shined in your life. Just for a moment in time, to be able to be a mother or a dad, a parent. And so people say, well, why I keep on having miscarriages? So many reasons. Some people could be wishing bad luck over your life. Some people who can be wishing bad, things that you do have, that, miscarriage. Some people just have miscarriages because they were not meant to be a mother in this timeline, but to be able to be a testimony to others, to tell other women how they got through the miscarriage, to be a voice, a teacher, a help to others, and say, hey, I've had these many miscarriages and I didn't think I was gonna, get through it or get over it, but I was able to get through it. And this is how I did it with God. And that's healing. That's healing, because when you're able to tell your testimony and all that you've been through to help others that have been through the same thing with, that you have, you're considered a healer, or a motivational speaker, some form of healing that helps others, to give them like a platform, or a blueprint on how you made it through, how you beat the odds, how you got through something that they seem like they're not able to conquer, So it's many reasons why things happen, but it's all the works of God. You just have to find that thing about your life, your specific life, and what you need to heal, and how you can help others through God. And sometimes you think oh, this is what I'm supposed to be, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Sometimes that's just not it. And that's okay, because God will be leading you to it when God is ready to lead you to it. So saying all that to say, and summing it up, when you're different or considered weird, whether you're autistic, you're RC, and people don't get you the way you express yourself, maybe you have a lisp, maybe you hug trees. I love hugging trees, which I haven't hugged one in a while, because at one point I was just like, I didn't want to be looked at as weird. I don't give a fuck no more. If I was by a tree right now, I'd go hug it and hold it, and I don't care who watching me. But at one point I wasn't like that, because I knew this world was like judgmental, and you looked at it as a certain way because you're like that. I grew up in poverty. We had roaches and shit, crawling from the ceiling, cockroaches. When my mama moved into that house, that rent was $100 a month. They didn't have a wall there. They had a hole that in our ceiling in the kitchen after my brother fell through it, going in the attic, and it stayed there. I mean, like, I grew up in poverty. I lived in New Orleans for almost 10 years, and I I tell you what, if I ain't learned survival, I ain't learned survival. I learned survival. I learned how people can be. I learned the evils of the world, or should I say not the world, of New Orleans. People, some people, not all. I learned. I learned, you know, and it did not change my kind heart. But just because I grew up in the hood or in poverty, and now I'm a person, or not saying now, I know inside of me, I've always been that way. But I feel like I had to be and adapt to my environment, because I could have been taken advantage of. I could have been killed. I could have been so many things when you're in certain environments. When I really, give you a picture in your head. Imagine me being in the hood, hugging a tree. Put that in your mind. Imagine me being in the hood, hugging a tree. Okay, so there you go. But then people don't look at you like, oh, she grew up rough. It's in me, but I don't want to be her because I grew up in poverty or in the hood. I had to learn survival, all this stuff. I understand people, manipulation, all this stuff. Doesn't mean I want to be that. I want to be who God created me to be. And if the people in the hood don't accept me and recognize I get it, I've been there, done that, and call me a flake, good. Because we're not alike. I don't have to, just like they say, just because I'm from the hood don't mean I gotta act hood. That's true. I want to act like me, but it doesn't mean I don't understand poverty. It doesn't mean I don't understand the hood. It doesn't mean I don't understand what it feels like to stand on the corner and sell drugs. It doesn't mean I don't understand what it feels like to have someone who's an alcoholic, or it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that I don't know what it feels like to be abused as a child, emotionally, mentally, physically. Like, it doesn't mean that. And I think people get that shit twisted about me just because I'm kind. And where I am now, they just think I'm weak. No, being kind is not a weakness. I wish y'all would get that out your mind. Being kind is strong. Imagine being kind in a world like this. You gotta be strong. It's easy to be hood and ghetto and pop off and kill people and fight. That's easy. That's not strength. That means, like, again, you don't know how to deal with your emotions. And you trying to be somebody, and people who look up to are fear. You trying to intimidate people by projecting your unhealed traumas on people to make them fear you. But that's not strength. That's immaturity. That means that that child inside you never healed. And imagine a child with a gun. Lord, my God. Imagine a child with a gun, but you're an adult, because your inner child never healed. Imagine that child going around beating up on people, that temper tantrums. Be strong enough to heal yourself. Understand the difference between kindness and weakness. Because it takes strength to be kind in a world that's so cruel. It takes strength to be kind in a world that manipulates, cons, kills, steals, destroy, hurts you, talks about you, lie on you, verbally abuse you, do things behind your back. It takes strength, because the people who do it behind your back, they're not mature. They're not strong. Because someone who don't like you, even if they not healed and got a little bit of the strength and feel like even if they was, like, say, working for the enemy, there are people that come to you and be like, I just want you to know I don't like you and I do shit behind your back, but because I'll do it behind your back, I'm gonna tell you to your face, I don't like you, I do this behind your back, XYZ. Because they feel like they strong, and that's who they are. They know that's who they want to be. They want to be evil. They want to be evil. So they don't have a problem with saying it to your face. But there are those who hide because they want you to think that they're really kind and sweet and all this shit, when they the ones who stabbing you in your back. They weak. They haven't healed their inner child. They haven't matured. That's why I say, figure out who you want to be. Do you want to work for the devil or you want to work for the divine light? And stand on it. Because when you stand on it, you're not afraid to say, yep, bitch, I'm your enemy. Whatever. You able to say it without, they say, throwing the rock and hide your hand. Period. And so I want to work for the divine light, which I do. I don't want to be where I was, working out of my darkness, my unhealed inner child. And no, it wasn't your fault that, your mom beat you, or your mom touched you sexually, or your dad, or, or you grew up in the gang, or you was pushed into that life, the street life. It wasn't your fault that, someone would not stop molesting you, or whatever it is your issue is. It wasn't your fault, especially if you were a child and adults did that to you. It wasn't your fault. But what you do with it is your fault. Because you have too many people in this world on these platforms to try to help direct people out of darkness, to tell you right from wrong. So you can't keep on saying you didn't know. I don't know. I didn't know that was wrong. You can't keep on saying that, because God will place people in your life to let you know what it is, so you will be accountable for it down the line. So you can't keep on, using that same excuse. You didn't know. Oh, I didn't know. Nobody told me. No, you know. And if you're looking at this video, anytime you hurt other people, instead of looking inside yourself and trying to figure out where the hurt coming from, you need to grow, heal, learn. And you can only do that and find your true self, your true identity with God taking all of that away from you. Meaning he healed you from your inner child. He showed you when your fault. You cried out. You let it go. You keep on growing. You keep on growing. You go through the pain. You go through the karma. You do all those things that you need to do to work inside you to get to who you are, who God created you to be. And not only go through that, but be proud of yourself, because you did it. You was one of those people who people never thought was gonna make it, or who was gonna always be in the hood on food stamps with 9 kids. Whatever your situation is, you don't have to stay like that. Imagine you doing all that work and then you and your 9 kids got a mofo mansion. And I say mofo because I be wanting to say motherfucker. I just say a motherfucking mansion, okay? I be wanting to say my little curse words, but my cuss words. I don't know why I say curse. I think I grew up like people say curse. No, it's not curse. It's cuss. And I have to correct that every time, because I used to think it was curse words, but it's cuss. I even heard people say, you need to stop back in the day. You need to stop cursing because you cursing somebody. Well, it's not. I'm not cursing anybody because it's not curse words. It's cuss. But people, we got that broken language and the way we pronounce things, the way we grew up and how people told us, so we just kind of mimicked that, and we never took the time to be like, oh, that's not how you pronounce that, or that's not how you say that. Kind of like, brands the way we talk. But anyway, heal y'all inner child. If you want life to be different at all, heal it. But if you like what you do, stay like that. And I just want to say this last thing. I'm going to get off here because I know this is a long video, but I just needed to, I asked God that he wanted me to speak on it because it was laying on my heart. When you have had sexual trauma and things like that, even with some people who prostitute, whether you're a woman or a man, most of the time it's like, it's from a few things. It's either from you were sexually touched as a child, or you learn how to hustle with your body, prostitute to get money for whatever you need. This was the way you were brought up. This is this is all you know. Someone told you, especially if you're a woman, because I've heard this as a woman as well, your thing down there is your money maker. Y'all need to erase all of that shit out y'all head. Unless you want to stay like that. I mean, Like, again, I'm not judging nobody. This your life. I'm just trying to show you a different path, a better way. Okay? The more you allow your body to be given to people who are unhealed, you collect more demons. I'm going to say it again. The more you allow yourself, your body, to be given to people, you collect more demons spiritually. What does that mean? So let's say that you keep giving your body to people. Everybody you sleep with, not only are you taking on their traumas, their depression, their demons, and y'all transferring it back and forth to each other, you also can contract, some type of STI. Everything starts in the spiritual realm. What do you mean by everything starts in the spiritual realm? Everything that happens on earth happens in the spirit first. Again, we fight not against flesh, but the principalities. That means spirits, right? So that means that everything that's happening to you in the earth, it happened in the spirit. Yes, there are spiritual STDs. Some people say STI. I'm just old school. I prefer to say STD. Okay. It happens in the spirit. That means that the spirits that the bodies you've been laying up with got spirits. You got spirits, and one of them, or a few of them, or however many you fooling with, or even yourself, have slept with someone who had an STI, STD, and it came down from the spirit into the physical. And now you got it. And you say, are you doomed? No, you're not doomed. If you change your life, you can ask God to remove those STIs from you, and God will. Yeah, you might go to the doctor one day and they say you got some STI, but then you follow God again because it happened in the spirit. God is spiritual. God is a spirit. It happened in spirit. You go to the doctor one day and they say you got XYZ, and then you change your life, give your life to God, ask God to deliver you from, all evil and harm, all, spiritual attacks, all STIs. Let your body be healthy, mind, body, spirit, and soul. And then if God see favor in you, God will remove it because it started in the spirit. And then you go to the doctor and they go, oh, you don't have this. And then you be like, well, I thought you said that I have XYZ, blah, 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 blah. We don't know what happened. Those are those miracle moments, We don't know what happened. You don't have it. Child, I done been told I had so many things in my life. Tumors, thyroid issues, all kind of stuff, girl and boy, or man and woman. Child, went back to the doctor, ain't had none of that. And then also I want y'all to understand that people do speak ill will over your life. They can create those things in the spirit to come down into the physical as if it's so, when it never was. The devil creates illusions. He creates illusions. So then you go to the doctor, you thinking, oh, the doctor that told you had such and such. Like, people do black magic. Like, believe it or not, black magic and all that, from what I have learned from being attacked by it, is like they can do stuff on police officers, judges, children, whatever, to put them in this illusion or this trance to make things happen in their favor. Make them lie. They don't even realize they lying. They'll be forgot about what they said a few minutes later because they're unawakened. They don't realize, somebody's doing spell work on them, And it's so crazy because the other day God revealed to me, because I realized in the past I used to stare off, like I was being a trance, even people that called me weird, like your eyes, like you just stare off. Like, I remember one time going to Walmart and walking into Walmart and literally, I don't know how long I was just standing in the middle of the freaking store in a trance. I don't know how long, but all I know is when I came to, people were just looking at me, and I just continued to walk. And I knew that I had this thing where I would constantly go into this trance, like this stare. And I went to the doctor for it, and it was like, you probably having what they call stare seizures, And because at one point I supposedly had a seizure a long time ago when I was with one of my exes who stabbed me. God revealed to me spell work, spell work, spell work, and more spell work. Spell work on top of spell work. God showed me, you baby, you been being attacked. You forgot about that. I had forgot about I used to be that way. Literally, I forgot. And God brought it to my attention. He was like, baby, people been doing spell work on you so long. I don't even do that stair stuff no more. And I had forgot that because I don't do it anymore, and I had been doing it for years. I'm talking about, my gosh. I want to say it stopped. It's just stopped like maybe 10, 11 years ago. Probably less than that. And I didn't even realize that was spell work, black magic. Because I ain't know nothing about that stuff. Like, I wasn't into none of that. You know, like I didn't know nothing about that. And let me tell y'all, just because you're not into that don't mean that you shouldn't educate yourself. Because you don't believe in stuff, sometimes it'll be your downfall and you don't know what's going on with you. It's nothing wrong with educating yourself, getting the knowledge of what love spells feel like, what black magic feel like. You know, how can you know when hoodoo or voodoo's done on you? Which, if you with God gonna teach you. God's gonna teach you. So you never have to worry about that. You know, so, all right. So I know this was long. It's almost an hour I've been talking. I just, wanted to give people answers to things. The best thing you could do is get on your path. Get on your path. The more you delay, the less time you have. Like, for real, we think that, we got all the time in the world. People say that, but it's, people say, oh, you think you got all the time in the world, but your time is limited. That shit is true. It's true. You don't got all this time to get it right. You don't get it right, you die, and you was a thug, you was whatever you was. You never got a chance to really see how beautiful your soul really was, or it came, or what your soul really came here to do. Or how you could, help your bloodline that is crossed over, so the ones that's still alive, it's gonna help them too. You'll never know. Sometimes even, like me helping my bloodline, breaking generational curses. The sad part is that your own family members can be stopping you this on earth, because either they don't know it, what your calling was or is, or they just prefer to, be demonic. And don't forget, like, people, your family and friends and people, they be jealous of you and they hate on you. And people in authority that hear your videos and stuff on social media, they don't want you to tell the truth. They don't want people to awaken to the truth. They just don't. They want the world to stay evil. They want you to be one less person. One day you on video, then one day you missing, and nobody knew what happened to you. Either God then came and got you or something, or, you did some shit, you wasn't protected, and then the world came and got you, if you get what I'm saying, And that's just the way it is. That's just the way this world is. But people don't see that. They don't get that. They just be like, oh, someone went missing, and it's so sad, because a lot of people, like, who children have gotten kidnapped and killed and stuff like that, they just think that it's just happenstance. It's not. Starting spirit. It's a reason that your child could have been chosen. It could have been so many things. You can be chosen. It's so many things, but until you awaken to the actual reality of what's going on from the spiritual perspective, because again, we fight not against what? The flesh? But principalities, the spirit. God gave you a blueprint to tell you what it is, but we keep ignoring that. And then we go around here judging people. So y'all need to work on that judging shit. A lot of people need to work on that judging shit. And especially, I ain't going to even say it. I'm just going to leave that part alone, because I don't want to, I'm not going to get into that. But let's just say that God showed me what religion took Jesus out. I'm going to say it like this. If you a person that's religious and you judge people, you trying to cause harm to people, whether that's spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and you call yourself a person who walked for God, you were that person who took your bloodline, was that person, those people who took out Jesus. Straight up. Because Jesus was different. Because Jesus was different. And how dare he think that he's more than me? Or how dare he think he is this? Oh my God, he knows how to heal. He's a witch. That's you know, I mean, and it's like the display literally of people hanging black people, you know, and burning witches back in the day. What they did, nailed Jesus to the cross. It's the same difference to the wood, you know, wood, a tree. It's the same difference. It's like a symbolic confirmation and information that's embedded in secrecy. Like if you can connect the dots, you will see that it's all the same people. And if, like I said, if you're a person goes around who judges people, who condemns people, who do black magic on people, who, you know, feel like somebody think they better than you, your bloodline is a part of that. And I want to say, I'm not, God, just say that. Y'all gonna have to catch it. Your bloodline is a part of that. You cannot go in the Bible and sit there and read the Bible and it says, he who's not sinned be the first to cast a stone, but cast a stone. You ain't perfect. Your shit do stink. It stink. It smell bad, fishy. Okay? And ain't no vinegar and water gonna help that thing. And for the guys, ain't nothing, you know, what y'all put down there. Jock powder ain't gonna help it. Okay? It ain't gonna help it. It stink. Because you ain't no better than the next person. And you got to stop thinking like that. You got to stop judging people and projecting on people. You got to stop that. But every time you judge somebody and pick on somebody and bully somebody, do black magic, talk about people, do all that stuff, remember, I'm telling you, you are a part of the people, which I'm not going to say who these people are, who nailed Jesus to the cross. You are. Whether you've been reincarnated or your bloodline who has crossed over, you are a part of it. And every time you do that, you just continue that dirtiness, that filthiness in your spirit and your bloodline to continue to be that. Okay? That's all I gotta say. So when somebody else talk about witches and all that, people talk about, oh, tarot, this and that, tarot, you know, that's nothing but witches, bull crap. The world don't want you to be enlightened to understand that magic, things like that help for you to connect with God. Like, people don't get like, okay, somebody use cards. Do you know some of these tarot readers literally just write words on a card? Okay, so then what? But because there's no symbol on there, right? They'll write words, just like an index card, words. So, oh, they deal with tarot. They, you know, they evil. Is everybody of the divine light in tarot? Absolutely not. Is everybody the divine as a pastor? Absolutely not. Is everybody who's spiritual, who speaks of God, divine and telling the truth? Absolutely not. Like, it's the person, it's the spirit in the vessel. You got to see the spirit. People use all types of tools to connect with God. Everybody learns different. If you can understand that maybe when you was in school, you were really good at math. You know, teachers say 2 + 2 = 4. Again, to me, that's just memory. That's memory. I'm more of a comprehension. I need to know why 2 + 2 = 4. If you just was a person, I got math, I could do that, yeah, square root, da. Well, it's because either you really understand it and you can break down that formula to other people to make them understand why that formula was created and what it's for. But if you're one who just knows the answer and you don't know the science behind it or whatever behind it, then you memorized it. And there are those people like me who you have to show oranges to. So if you take one orange and you take another orange, how many is that? 2. Okay, so now if I take 2 more oranges, how much is that? 4. Okay, now I want to know why I need to know 2 oranges = 4. What is this going to do for me in life? It's the same difference. Cards are a way of learning. Some people are visual learners. Okay, so y'all stop being ignorant with thinking that, okay, because people use tarot cards, they witches. Again, let's go back to what I just told you about Jesus. Okay, there's a religious group that nailed Jesus to the cross because they classified him as a witch. Jesus was a healer. He was a prophet, or some people want to call psychic. Okay, he had these miraculous gifts, and people on earth, these religious groups, did not like that. They felt like he was trying to be a god, and they feel like their God was their God, which was the same God, but they couldn't comprehend it because Jesus was trying to show them, what you're thinking is wrong. And any of you on earth thinking you're God, you're not. I am. I am the Son of God, Messiah. But because he was different, they pretty much looked at Jesus as, not pretty much, they looked at Jesus as a witch. From before that, again, people was burning people. Before and after that was burning people and hanging people. Some people like, oh, they just hung black people. No. It's you got all these different types of groups. A lot of them want power. They want authority. Some people are spiritual. It's so many different things that it all comes into one thing, though. Their bloodline and what their bloodline did, and that they're not healing it. Okay? So we're not about to get into that because it's already going too long. When you're gifted, your gifts can be all types of things. The way God teaches you, it could be through cards. Okay? Everybody does not learn the same. If you can get that, you can get life. Everybody does not learn the same. Some people don't even know how to read. Some people will never understand how someone may teach them how to read, but then another person can come along and teach that mind how to read something. And they go, oh, I got it. That's because everybody learns differently. Maybe somebody may have a gift of gab, like a preacher. He may be able to get in that word and say this and that, but it's from his interpretation. You always want to go to God and confirm everything that someone tells you. You don't want to just like go in, go to church and be like, the preacher interpretation was such and such and such, and you go with it. No, you want to go, Heavenly Father, have a relationship with God. Heavenly Father, I ask you to give me the interpretation with the word that I heard today. Was this what you were trying to say in your word, Lord? Is this your word, Lord God? Is this someone else's word, someone's observation when they was writing the Bible? Is this what you want to depict? Like, you have to go within and let God confirm it. He will confirm it. God confirms things through numbers, synchronicities, intuition, animals, trees, skies, letters. Like, again, everyone learns different, but that's how God teaches all kinds of ways. So stop being so ignorant, thinking that every tarot reader is some demonic evil thing because you were brought up like that. Oh my God, that's witch. That's the witch. That's witchcraft. I don't deal with no witchcraft. I look at tarot readers all the time. I ask God to give me a discerning spirit of who's who and what's what. But I love to learn. And I don't just stop learning from that. I learn from God. I learn from looking at movies. I learn from the world. I learn from numbers. Like, I learn from reading. I learn from talking to people on the phone. I love learning. Do you hear me? Oh my God. I love learning. I find it so literally. All right, beautiful people. I'm getting up off of here. Be a better person for yourself. This is going to be my ending conversation, my closing. Be a better person for yourself. That way you'll be a better person in the world. Stop projecting your shit off onto other people and deal with your own shit. Awaken to who you truly are through God by surrendering to God, asking God to heal you. Who are you, God? Show me the way. Show me the truth and the light. Begin your journey of self-healing. You're worth it. You're worth it. You are not your parent. You are not your mother. You are not your dad. You are not your auntie, your cousins. You are who you are. You were created specifically unique the way God created you. So stop thinking that just because it's the way somebody else did it, you're supposed to do it that way. Find out who you are so that you can awaken to the trueness of the world, walk in your highest version of yourself, and live a more prosperous life. Stop being evil, stabbing people in the back, doing black magic, doing all that stuff. Stop being afraid to go in the unknown. Okay? Because at the end of the day, the unknown, God is the unknown. God is each and everything. He's everything. So whatever you're afraid of, you're basically afraid of God. But if you want to find out what the unknown is and be strong enough to walk in it, grab a hold of God's hand and don't let go. Don't let go. And allow God to walk you through the unknown, letting you know spiritually, because that's when you really get connected. When you don't see. You can't see what's in the spirit, but you know that God's there because you just feel it. You just know it. Walk through the unknown so God can show you who you are. Heal. Have that beautiful heart that God gave you on the inside. Love yourself so you can teach your children how to love themselves. Be great, because you are great. You are great. You are an amazing being that God created. Awaken to that. All right. I love you, beautiful people. I love you. I love you. I love y'all. I hope y'all have a beautiful, 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 beautiful life. Bye.